So for today's video, I had a I'm not sure if it's unusual. I actually couldn't find any examples like this, but I might not have noticed them or not been looking in the right place. But I had the idea recently. Actually, I had it a few different times over the past few months, but I never got around to doing it. To make a video where I talk about the titles and, for the special ones, read parts or maybe the whole article of some good news stories. I feel like probably how a lot of people feel lately. I have a lot of opinions on kind of social media and how much we kind of use our phones and laptops and everything, but I'm not special for having opinions on that really. A lot of people are aware that it can be quite bad in some ways. Obviously, these kind of tools help us to stay close to people sometimes, but obviously there's also a lot of ways in which negative things can come from it. Like, I always feel comforted when people discuss their own kind of experiences. So I'll just say that I personally had quite a difficult time about a year ago. It sounds stupid as I'm saying it now, but a very small part of that, there's a lot of reasons, but a small part of that was the role of kind of Instagram and things like that, where you can browse through your explore page and you're just kind of greeted by people with kind of seemingly perfect lives, and you kind of get in a rut about comparing yourself. And so yeah, I've kind of found myself opening unlocking my phone and going on Instagram and feeling that way, and opening up Facebook and just finding memes a lot of the time, which are great, but perhaps don't add kind of too much to the overall life experience of a person. So I try opening up the news app, and then, as has been for a long time, probably since the news media began, but seemingly more so than ever lately, there's basically only kind of negativity, kind of far and wide in a million different ways, and it's not very nice to hear about. And I personally like being up to date with what's going on in the world around me, but it can kind of put a dampener on things sometimes. And yeah, it can leave you feeling kind of intellectual and like you know what you're talking about and what's going on outside your own doors, but also it can kind of leave you feeling a bit empty sometimes because you want something good. And obviously you can source the good in a million different ways, whether that's listening to videos like this or meeting up with friends if you feel comfortable kind of in a social way, which not everybody does. Sometimes that can add more stress than relief for some people, and definitely for me at times in the past as well. Or you can work out your frustration literally by working out, or playing games, or reading, listening to music, drawing, painting, making music, writing, dancing, singing, making up a cup of tea, or having a slice of cake. I do those things a lot. There's a million different ways, but if you perhaps don't have the energy for some of those things, then I thought I'd make a little video where I'm just reading some good things that have happened lately. So I found a website called Good News Network, I think it was. But their kind of layout wasn't as user-friendly, I think. But I found a Huffington Post kind of section. And I don't know, a lot of them are very kind of silly, maybe pointless. A lot of them are also quite clickbaity, because that's just the nature of the internet nowadays. In order to be noticed in this kind of vast array of content, you need to lure people in. So some of this might be a bit clickbaity, but yeah, I just wanted to bring a little bit of kind of good news to you. So instead of having the website up and ready, I always like typing sounds, so I'm going to do a little bit of that first. I just searched it again, and there's actually a section further down called Community Kindness, which I hadn't noticed before, but I'm going to open up probably that one too, and also the good news section. So I'm just gonna scroll down and read some of the titles, and if one kind of lures me in particular, then I'll probably open that and maybe read a little bit more. So, the first one is called Chunky Raccoon Stuck in Grate Rescued by Local Authorities. It seems this little guy has been eating a little too well. I don't know how I'm not going to click on that. So they managed to clickbait me quite well. And for some reason, I got that notification a little while ago, but for some reason sometimes notifications will come up on my laptop days later. But Na Gong Show, thank you for commenting on one of my videos recently. So I'm going to read a little bit of this very enlightening news article. And if you're not fast asleep by the end of this video, then I'd suggest you search it so that you can see the absolutely incredible photograph that is attached. On Thursday, police in the city of Zion, Illinois, received a call about a masked bandit in great distress. It seems this little guy has been eating a little too well and got caught in the sewers. Great. The city of Zion, Illinois Police Department wrote on Facebook, referring, of course, to a local raccoon. The officers were... There's another photo. It's so cute. The officers were unable to rescue the pathetically adorable critter on their own and had to call in for reinforcements from the Zion Public Works Department. The raccoon was freed, but not before those on the scene snapped some photos, which the department posted on Facebook. He has tiny little hands. While we can't speak to the health of this particular animal, it's normal for raccoons to put on an extra layer of fat and grow a thicker coat as they prepare for the cold winter weather. We think you're beautiful either way, little buddy. I'm back to the front page now. Oh, pets and people are joyously reuniting after California wildfires. That makes me happy. For some reason there seems to be quite a few about fat animals. The next one is called Strudel, the obese dog's fitness journey is nothing short of inspiring. next one is also about a dog, which I'm not mad about. Stray dog crashes a wedding and finds his own happily ever after. Malala Yousafzai, I hope I pronounced Yousafzai wrong, correct, nearly died for girls' education. Today she started at Oxford. Fluffy canine heroes show up to comfort a grieving Las Vegas. Teen does the honourable thing after finding lost wallet with $1,500 inside. This travelling cat circus has helped save more than 200 feline lives. I am definitely interested in this article also. It's tough to imagine anything that could make the amazing Acrocats, a travelling troupe of house cats that ride skateboards, play musical instruments, and sometimes get bored and wander off into the audience, even more awesome. As it turns out, there is something. The group has helped save the lives of more than 200 kittens over the past several years. I don't know how I've not heard of this. The team of cats themselves are all former rescues and strays. The founder, Samantha Martin, told HuffPost. In 2009, about 4 years after Martin started the group, she was inspired to take an even more active role in helping felines in need. She was hoping to adopt a kitten she could train as a new member of the Acrocats. Her search led to a crowded, high-kill shelter. High-kill, now they're high-skill. Oh. In Chicago. I go red when I try to make jokes. I shouldn't ever try again. A worker there told Martin that several kittens desperately needed foster homes, and that whichever ones weren't housed immediately would likely end up on that night's euthanasia list. I took all 12, Martin said, which she called a life-changing moment. I don't want to read anything slightly sad, so. Martin didn't end up making any of the kittens part of her permanent cast. She did help find good homes for all of them, and the first dozen kittens started a lasting legacy for Martin and the Acrocats. These days, Martin, her human assistants, and 17 cats, 16 performers, plus Captain Patch, a one-eyed, non-performing feline who belongs to an assistant, tend to travel the country with a few foster kittens in tow. The kittens reside in a deluxe 3-level space inside a specially outfitted Cout bus. That's amazing. Okay, I'm going to go back to the front page again now. I don't want to read any that are too clickbaity. Man proposes to girlfriend in front of Pope Francis. I don't know how that's particularly good news, but therapy dogs bring smiles to kids with autism, even at the dentist office. I'm gonna just have a look at this just because it seems like it might be useful. 7 amazing things, not including casseroles, you can do for anybody in pain. Send her a dancing taco. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the original page. Some of these aren't so much kind of news articles, some of them are just kind of articles that people are writing about things that aren't bad. Taylor Swift surprises 96-year-old fan with at-home visit and performance. Pregnant server gets a $900 tip just in time for Christmas. Secret Santa settles every overdue lunch balance at Pennsylvania elementary school. 7-year-old finds winning scratch-off. Uses money to buy food for needy. I want to have a look at this one. A big-hearted 7-year-old girl is using some remarkable good luck to help others in need. Second grader Phoebe Brown was running errands with her mother last week in Independence, Missouri, when she came across a winning $100 scratch-off ticket just lying on the ground. Instead of using the money to treat herself, however, she decided to spend it on food for those in need. You wonder if our kids these days, if that's how they're thinking, her father Joshua Brown told the Kansas City station. And this just goes to show, yeah, they are thinking that, and that's a real good thing. Phoebe confessed that the idea of buying toys with her windfall did occur to her, but once she heard about her school's canned food drive, she was sold. The family went to Walmart, where they purchased an assortment of canned goods. Phoebe's father also matched whatever his daughter spent. By the end of the food drive, Phoebe's class had collected 541 items of food, making them her school's winner. Phoebe's father said he knows firsthand what this could mean to a family in need. There have been times where I've been out of work, we had nowhere to stay, and our family's taken us in and helped us out. We're thankful for our friends and family. As a fun reward, Phoebe and her classmates were invited to shave their gym teacher's beard, which appeared to be an exciting treat for the kids who were heard squealing with delight. Getting back on the front page again. Kids are writing letters to Donald Trump to ask him to be kind. I hope they actually get delivered to him. Texas diner tips waiter $750 so he can fly home to Ireland. There's a lot of articles that say about research studies that say that being kind to others elevates your own well-being and quality of life, which makes sense. And about raising your kids in a kind way as well. I'm going to try this one. It's a bit of a list of recent things that have happened. Okay, yeah, it's a little bit of a list. So I'm going to read some of these. Scientists figured out how to link robotic limbs with the part of the brain that deals with intent to move, so people don't have to think about how they'll move the limb. It can just happen. That's amazing. That's one of those things that you think, why haven't I heard of that? Maybe you have. Child mortality is down everywhere, and it keeps going down. A solar-powered plan circumnavigated the world. Tiger numbers are growing. That's good. The manatee population is growing, and so are pandas. 70,000 Muslim clerics declared a fatwa against ISIS. Pokemon Go players went insane with placing lure modules near hospitals for sick kids. some of this might be kind of old news, like a year ago, but still nice to hear. California. I'll finish reading this and then I'll say something about something that I listened to a podcast the other day that's quite related. California is now powering over 6 million homes with solar power, a record in the US. So the other day I was working, painting signs and listening to some podcasts and some kind of downloaded BBC 4 stuff. And there was one where they went and interviewed some people in California because it's fighting really hard against Donald Trump's decisions to kind of say that climate change isn't kind of caused by humans, or that we should be paying attention to it, and kind of pushing the coal industry and everything. And California is doing a lot of good for kind of working against climate change, I guess, trying to prevent it from getting worse as much as possible and focusing on reusable energy and everything like that. That's quite interesting and also quite a good thing to hear about. This is amazing. Volunteers in India planted 50 million trees in 24 hours. Hmm. 500 elephants were relocated to a better, safer and bigger home. A new therapy developed in Israel could cure radiation sickness. The Rabbinical Assembly issued a resolution affirming the rights of transgender and non-conforming individuals. Dentists, I assume in America, are once again providing free care to veterans who need it. Death by heart disease has decreased by 70% in the United States. 2 brothers saw colours for the first time thanks to specially designed glasses. This one's amazing. Portugal ran its entire nation solely on renewable energy for 4 days straight. An Afghan teacher has been delivering books via bicycle to villages that lack school. 200 strangers attended the funeral of a homeless World War II veteran with no family. Toys R Us began offering quiet shopping hour for children with autism. Volunteers made special tiny Halloween costumes for NICU babies. A lot of the rest of the stuff is just talking about films that came out. And then it's going on to things that are just generally good. Puppies. Puppies. Puppies, 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 chocolate, 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 chocolate. So I'll go back to the original page. 4-year-old forms sweet friendship with elderly man at the grocery store. I need to know more about this. Tara Wood and her daughter Nora walked into Publix on Nora's birthday to buy cupcakes, and they walked out having made a new friend. We'd passed several other elderly customers, but she seemed magnetically drawn to this man, an elderly man who had walked by. Her face lit up like the sun. She waved excitedly and said, "Hi, old person, it's my birthday today." He was furrow-browed, but his expression softened when he realised she was speaking to him. "Well, hello, little lady, and how old are you today?" he asked. They chatted for a few seconds, and it was adorable. We said goodbye and carried on shopping. A few minutes later, she turned and asked, "Can I take a picture with the old man for my birthday?" I knew he couldn't have gone very far, so we backtracked until we found him. "Excuse me, sir. She'd like to know if you take a photo with her for her birthday," I asked. He looked confused, and then stunned, and then delighted. "A photo? With me?" he asked. "Yes, sir, for my birthday," Nora exclaimed. They posed together, and they hugged each other like they were long-lost friends. We thanked Mr. Dan for taking time to spend a few minutes of his day with us. He teared up and said, "No, thank you. This has been the best day I've had in a long time. You've made me so happy, Miss Nora." And I can see photos of the two of them, and it is very cute. And she's wearing a little princess outfit, and he looks like Santa Claus but without a beard. And they're just having a good time together. A good wholesome time. Okay, it goes further than her Facebook post. Nora and Mr. Dan's friendship has now gone beyond Publix. Wood has taken her daughter to visit him multiple times. Once, Nora bought him a puppy stuffed animal so Mr. Dan wouldn't be lonely. They also celebrated his 82nd birthday with him. We bought balloons, a gift, sang happy birthday to him. He let her blow out the candle. This is the most wholesome and beautiful thing I've ever heard. I love it so much. Wood has learned a lot about Mr. Dan since Nora first spoke to him. She described the man as incredibly interesting and remarkable. He's been a college professor at universities all over the country. He's written textbooks. He's a real academic. He has a pilot's license. After seeing how much Nora and Mr. Dan enjoy each other's company, Wood has no plans on letting their friendship fade. She also hopes the sweet tale of how they became friends will motivate others to simply take a moment to do what Nora did at Publix. I would love for people to take a minute to ask an older person how they're doing and really listen to them, to invite them into their homes for coffee, to take them for a meal or surprise them with flowers for no reason whatsoever, to check in on their grandparents more often. Wood added that her daughter is proof that a small gesture can make a big impact. A single impulsive encounter can change lives if we just allow it. I know it to be true. That's amazing. I'm glad I opened that one. I remember seeing this, but it's really cute. Cops attend Take Your Dad to School event for boy whose father had died. He could not believe they cared enough to come. humble cop touches hearts with selfless gesture for homeless man. I think that I've read about that. Yeah, I think he gave him a pair of shoes because he didn't have any of his own. A lot of them are about waiters being sent, like being given really large tips. This one sounds amazing. Internet sent 157 shirts to girl with autism after learning it was her favourite. That sounds cute. So apparently this child kind of had fallen in love with this one top and just wanted to wear it all the time and kind of wore it out. And then it was discontinued from years ago, 6 years ago. She'd worn it for kind of 4 or 5 years. And people all over the US and even UK and Germany started sending ones that they had. And now she has hundreds of them. These students collected 300 cases of water for the senior citizens of Flint. This it's not in the kind of same vein of what I've been talking about in the way that it's phrased, but this entrepreneur shows why it's so important to have dolls for boys of colour. And there's a picture of a little boy with a doll that looks exactly like him, and it makes you think that it took a long time for someone to think of that. And then, actually probably a lot of people have thought of it, but for it to actually kind of be taken past just the idea stage. And yeah, it is okay for boys to play with dolls, and it also should be a normal thing for anyone of colour to feel represented. So yeah, that's a really nice thing as well. This one doesn't sound like... I'm a bit baffled why it's on this page, but I'm interested in the title. The after-school Satan Club wants to show kids another path to the moral life. I'm just going to leave it at that. Heroic dog saves life of boy stranded in Sierra Madre Mountains. The Labrador didn't leave his side for 2 straight days. Uber driver returns passenger's wallet filled with $3,000. It's these clickbaity ones that say like 6-year-old's act of kindness touches hearts everywhere. Just tell me what the good news was. Starbucks is giving all of its US workers a raise. Gas station guy accepts retiree's dance request, waltzes into our hearts. I'll just have a look at the next page, see if anything pops out. Selfless schoolboys spot the retiree struggling with yard work and finish it for him. Cops pay for hotel room for homeless woman found sleeping in shed. selfless cop escorts adorable family of ducklings across busy street. That's the kind of thing I'm here for. But there's another article on it, and there's a photo, and he's kind of ushering them through traffic on a bike. It's very cute. Okay. I think that's probably it. I love this. I love it. It seems very kind of clickbaity, like, you won't believe how this little girl helped this, blah, blah. I had opened their community kindness page. So there's a couple on there. Locals say goodnight to kids in hospital with sparkling light displays. The community flashes lights for a minute every night at 8:30 p.m. That's really cute. Strangers raise $80,000 to buy wheelchair-friendly van for brothers who are paralysed. We can actually go places together. This 9-year-old creates handmade toiletry bags for the homeless. My dog is doing some very cute stretching. That's my good news right there. Little pantry on street invites people to leave goods for those in need. School has do-over ceremony after senior missed graduation due to a coma. This restaurant owner promises to feed anyone in need for free. I've seen a few places like that around. There's a place in Nottingham where I'm from where if you buy a meal, then they will kind of do the exact same for someone in need. And the place I climb has a kind of pass it on kind of free coffee plan. Yeah, things like that are always good in communities. But yeah, hopefully that is enough good news to kind of tide you over for a little while. If you like this idea, then I can always film one sometime in the future and try to make some more good news happen between now and then. Thank you for listening.